Hello Team FD and welcome back to the UCL review with me and Ginger, where we look at the best from the Champions League from the night before. Of course, we did Tuesday's games over on EFD. If you haven't watched that, please go and do so. And before you tackle PSG versus Liverpool, which is our first game, let's have a few look at the best bits from last night's Armchair Fans.
Mbappe.
Oh, go on.
Hit it.
Banana.
Oh!
Get
Oh,
it.
man, that.
You know.
He arrived from
I
Bayern
feel
Munich
him.
for £5 million.
Mate.
Bastard.
Hey!
He finishes it.
Oi, these
I told you,
boys are
Cavani, I told
doing
you.
bits and bobs today.
God.
Mbappe and Neymar.
Yes, of course, Paris Saint-Germain came out on top last night, didn't they? Beating Liverpool 2-1 at home to go second in the group on 8 points behind Napoli, who are, of course, on 9, leaving Liverpool on 6. That loss to Red Star Belgrade looking increasingly negative,
baby.
isn't it? Goals from Neymar and Wan Bernat were enough to see them off. And this away form for Liverpool continues to be worrying. That's 4 consecutive away losses in Europe for the first time in the club's history. Not a good stat, that at all. But it wasn't a huge surprise either. PSG have a fantastic home record. They're unbeaten in their last 21 group stage games at home. That's a record that stretches back to 2004, and they were good value for it as well. They took 12 shots to Liverpool's 8, but most importantly, they had 8 shots on target in this one. Liverpool mustered just 1. Yes, 1. In fact, PSG actually created 5 clear-cut chances on the night, but many of them sort of petered out around the 6-yard box. There was a number of guilty parties, including Mbappe and Edinson Cavani, who rolled the ball across the 6-yard box when they probably should have shot, and it didn't result in an effort on target. I'm thinking of Edinson Cavani, you're particularly guilty of this. But overall, Jurgen Klopp was pretty much fuming about the general state of the game. It was very, very stop-start. There were loads of yellow cards as well. Just check out this interview.
The number of interruptions in that game was just not cool. I said it a few times. 2 times in a row we won the fair play. What is it? Table, whatever, in England. And tonight we look like butchers when you look for after the yellow cards we had. It was clever of PSG, of Neymar, of all these, especially him probably, that makes you aggressive, obviously. Unfortunately, kind of negative aggressive, but doesn't help in football. You act like you die, and the next moment you get up again, you can give a yellow card. But that's all possible. It's not, what is it? Not sportsmanlike behavior. Not 100% in Germany. The translation is a yellow card.
So what do you think of that? Let us know in the comments below whether you're in agreement or you think he's overcooking it. Anyway, despite the Klopp tirade, Neymar was absolutely stupendous on the night, grabbing his 50th goal involvement in the Champions League. That's 31 goals and 19 assists. In the process, he became the highest scoring Brazilian in the Champions League, overtaking Kaká, who previously had 30. That is some achievement at the age of, what, 27?
26, actually, I think.
He's probably got 5 years left at the top. So he's going to be way out in front, isn't he? But last night's performance made perfect sense, didn't it? Because the Brazilian is in frightening form. That was his 16th club goal of the season, and he's now been directly involved in 22 in just 1,500 minutes.
Vile.
That's a goal involvement every 68 minutes.
He's in ridiculous form.
You're going to struggle to find a better return across Europe's top 5, I tell you that now. Now, despite the antics and the screaming and the rolling around and the fact he can be extremely annoying to watch, Neymar claimed he was injured going into this game, saying beforehand, I wasn't 100%, but it was an important game, so I had to play. Putting his body on the line there, not something we really associate with Neymar, although he does get kicked about. You know,
all over the pitch.
When you see his ankles post-game, not a pretty sight, so, you know, maybe we can be a bit more forgiving as neutrals. And what a performance it was. It was a good job. He came back. 5 shots, 3 from inside the box, 4 dribbles completed. Pretty low for Neymar, actually, just the 4. 2 key passes and fouled 6 times, winning free kicks in vital areas. Him and Mbappe, I mean, it was 2 or 3 passes down that left-hand side, and they'd transition play from their own 6-yard box to Liverpool's penalty area. And I think the biggest threat to PSG on the night was PSG playing it out from the back. Kimpembe was absolutely awful in possession.
Yeah.
However, promising young player, rate him, big future ahead of him. Anyway, let's talk about Silva and Marquinhos. He was a makeshift number 6 last night, wasn't he, in tackles 4-2-3-1. Combined, the Brazilian duo, 10 tackles and interceptions, 21 clearances. Thiago Silva was literally clearing it with every orifice. 86 passes and 88% pass completion rate. So, you know, metronomes as well.
I loved it when they
Wouldn't be an episode of
chest
UCL
bumped.
review if we didn't get the word metronome in.
I loved it. They chest bumped at the celebration of a goal kick. It was like, you touses. I love it.
But this group and its complexion still on a knife edge.
Yeah, it really is on a knife edge. But it's not all over for Liverpool either yet, despite the fact they are still 3 points behind Napoli. Liverpool can still progress if they beat Napoli 1-0. However, if Napoli score, then they have to win by 2 clear goals. Or if PSG lose or draw against Red Star and they win, then they will go through as well.
Hopefully you
It's
follow
quite
that at home.
complicated.
I am just watching Joe's mouth move.
But they can still go through. This group is very tight. Very tight. Moving on to last night's other big game. It's Inter Milan versus Tottenham Hotspur at Wembley. What happened, Emil?
Apart from Moussa Sissoko turning into primo Clarence Seedorf.
Other than that.
Tottenham triumphed over into 1-0 at Wembley to go second in Group B on 7 points, level with the Italians, but ahead on head-to-head. Now, fate is now in the Lily Whites' hands. They travel to the Nou Camp, ugly, for the final group game, needing a win or just to match Inter's result.
Yes.
Inter have PSV at the San Siro. Now, it was quite a tight game. Tottenham only narrowly beat Inter on expected goals, 1.1 to 0.9, after a strong opening but a nervy finish, which has kind of been a recurrent theme in their European campaign
All
so
the
far,
time.
hasn't it? I know, endemic. I don't know what's wrong with the mentality of Poch's men in the final 20, 30 minutes. But Inter Milan actually created double the amount of chances than Tottenham from 60-minute onwards. Of course, Eriksen's goal coming after the 18-minute mark, which is, of course, the statistic that counts, as everyone likes to say, but nervy. Inter were on form coming into this game, so confidence was probably high with the Nerazzurri. They'd won 8 of their last 9 Serie A games, scoring 18 in the process, only conceding 6, and 4 of them were to a very good Atalanta side when they had a man sent off as well. They have the second best goal difference in Serie A at current.
Wow.
But Pochettino's men edged it, did enough over the course of the game. 14 shots to Inter's 10, 5 on target to the visitors' 2, but only 6 efforts from inside the box. Inter Milan also producing 5. So the persistent last-minute jitters and the inability to put a game like that to bed will probably worry Poch somewhat.
It's Juventus form. I remember the exact same happened against Juventus last year. It wasn't quite as far towards the end of the game, but it was a 10-minute spell from about 60 to 80 minutes, or 20-minute spell, sorry, from 60 to 80 minutes, which literally cost them their place in the Champions League.
Yeah, it's also happened against PSV this season when they went down to 10 men and they started to play out for a draw or rest on a 1-0 lead and it didn't go their way. Obviously conceded a late goal against Inter Milan at the San Siro, but certain individuals really picked up their game and carried Tottenham over the line in this game. Harry Kane completing 5 dribbles.
What?
Can't remember seeing him complete 5 dribbles in a long time, picking it up deep and just running past men like it was, you know, his go-to skill set. Lucas Moura created 4 chances from out wide, and Moussa Sissoko put up 4 tackles and interceptions, as well as 2 clearances, and his transitional play was great. I mean, the run for the goal.
He's a changed man.
Not a lot of people have that powerful surge in the Tottenham team. That's what they rely on Moussa Dembele from, and he's supplying it. And who'd have thought, you know, when 50, 60,000 people stop chanting that you crap at you on the sidelines and they get behind you, that your confidence is sky high and subsequently improves your performances. But there's some other players, weren't there, notable names that came back from injury?
Yeah, Jan Vertonghen, of course, returning from injury in this one, a massive part of that Tottenham Hotspur back line. He completed 7 interceptions, that's more than the entire Inter Milan side, and notching up 5 clearances as well. Conversely, We talk about Kane having a really big game. I thought Dele Alli was great as well. Jan Vertonghen coming back. Inter Milan struggled to get their stars to shine. Mauro Icardi really isolated in this one. Didn't take a single shot, which is so unlike him because we know how clinical he is. Also, Nainggolan, of course, they brought in the summer, had to come off on 44 minutes for Borja Valero, who did create 2 chances, which I think was a team high, but the loss of Nainggolan was pretty clear in this game.
I actually saw that
them.
Icardi didn't take a touch in the box either.
That's damning. I mean, Mauro Icardi is
That's
he
his game.
operates inside the 6-yard box, doesn't he? So that's such a big loss for them. It was pretty clear for me, anyway, going into this one, that Inter would have happily settled with the draw. I don't think they were ever going into it thinking we're going to be extremely progressive, we're going to go out here to win. The draw would have been enough for them, and it came back to bite them somewhat, that negative mentality, I think. I think Brozovic and Skriniar were arguably their most influential players. I think they had 7% and 6%, respectively, of Inter Milan's possession. Just too defensive.
Their average position on the heat maps, which I was looking at this morning, because this is my part of the script, was actually so deep. It was just bottom left. There was actually no heat in the opposition box.
It's a shame because I think they went out there to contain and it just didn't quite, it nearly worked for them, but it just didn't quite pay off. I mean, when you look at how many shots they're having in Serie A this season, I think it's around 17. It's 4 more than Tottenham Hotspur. It's a bit of a shame that we didn't see that buccaneering Inter Milan come out and play against them. In fact, we talk about a lack of attacking now. Brozovic, Politano and Nainggolan didn't create a goal-scoring opportunity between them. Moussa Sissoko and Harry Winks created 4. So, fortunate for Tottenham that Moussa Sissoko has turned into Clarence Seedorf, and that was probably his best performance in a lily-white shirt last night. But equally, Inter let themselves down a little bit. Next up, anyway, for Tottenham, we've got the big one. We've got the North London derby against Arsenal. It will be part of the Football Social on the weekend, so make sure you tune into the live stream. That will be happening. It's an extended edition, I believe.
It is.
A 5-hour special featuring this man.
My eyes are going to be square. Last but not least, PSV versus Barcelona, Joe.
Yes, Barcelona secured their place in the round of 16 as group winners. Potentially good news for Tottenham Hotspur because Barcelona might well rest some players against them in that crucial game.
We want to see Munir Haddadi.
Yes,
we want to see Rafinha. Who else?
Plenty of others.
Sergio Roberto.
Just can't think of them off the top of my head. But anyway, this was a pretty open game. It was a really exciting one, wasn't it? Obviously, they won 2-1, but it was no cakewalk. PSV and Barca both had 20 shots plus in this game. Barca had 9 on target, but PSV had 8, and they hit the woodwork 3 times, which all count as off-target shots. And as well as that, they missed 4 clear-cut chances. I think their expected goals was over 3. PSV's expected goals in this one was over 3 against Barcelona.
Are riding their luck defensively at the moment.
Big time. Barcelona have conceded the 6th most goals in the entirety of La Liga. They're not playing particularly well at the back. In fact, Ter Stegen in this one made a season-high 8 saves. So they were thankful for the big German in goal. The defence looked a bit tepid. Luke de Jong, is it Luke de Jong? I think it's Luke de Jong, had some great opportunities. He was well worth the goal when it eventually came because he hit the bar. He was peppering Ter Stegen with headers all over Gerard Piqué. But a great game made even better by Lionel Messi. What a performance.
Yes, cometh the man, cometh the GOAT. Saving the day for the Catalan club, yet again scoring a wonder goal. 0 back lift. How's that flying in?
Absolute pitching wedge.
And setting up the second somewhat fortuitously for Gerard Piqué, although people on the night did think it was a stroke of genius, and he kind of came out and poo-pooed that.
Well,
what a guy.
Gerard
Ronaldo
Piqué tried to claim
that. So.
Gerard Piqué tried to claim it. Piqué went, oh yeah, we meant that. Training ground routine.
Piqué's a politician. He's a future chairman of Barcelona. Of course he's peddling that sort of agenda.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's having a ridiculous season in Europe. 3 games, 6 goals, 1 assist. The top goal scorer in the competition, of course. That was actually Leo's 106th goal in 128 European appearances for Barcelona.
Get in the bin.
Let that sink in.
Vile.
Absolutely vile. And of course, as we've come to expect by now, his on-the-night statistics absolutely freakish. 6 shots, 4 on target, 5 chances created. 80 touches, 1 goal, 1 assist. And nice to see Ousmane Dembele do well last night. He got that last-minute equaliser against Atleti Madrid. He is turning up to training early now after being found to be on his PlayStation or his Xbox at 5 o'clock in the morning. Apparently been getting to training 60 minutes early, so someone's obviously had a quiet word in his ear and he's responded well to it. He played really well for the 80 minutes he was on. 1 assist, 3 key passes, 4 dribbles with a 100% completion rate. They're the sort of numbers we want to see. Ousmane.
What happened to my voice then?
So, I don't know. What notes were in the show on?
Ousmane.
So Joe's little ginger twig and giggle berries have finally dropped there. What else can people do apart from enjoy hearing your voice break?
Well, I believe Hot Takes is going out today, is it? Yes, it is. I've had the nod from James behind the camera. And as we said during this, make sure you tune in to the Football Social on the weekend. It's a 5-hour extended derby special.
Extravaganza, you might say.
Woo! Tottenham versus Arsenal and and Liverpool versus Everton.
All the derbies.
Red v blue and red v white. Nailed it.